Hey guys, so I'm making this video because I've been getting a flood of messages after the last video that I released. I talked about this PDF that I'm going to be giving out at the upcoming webinar, which talks about the 10 ways that you can land an automation job with no experience. So many of you have reached out, wanted to know more information, if I can provide some a preview of what's included in here. So the good news is that I will be providing some information in this video, but the bad news is that it's not going to be all of it, right? So for the webinar, that's coming up on Monday. Make sure you do sign up for it so that you can get all the full, the full details. It's 25 pages in here. Put in a lot of work, a lot of time to create this. So to make sure that I give you the best that I can, right? Provide you the best amount of information that you can use, take into action. So let's talk about the one thing that I want to talk about in today's video, which is basically optimizing your resume, right? For those of you in other countries, may be called a CV, right? So why would you want to optimize your resume? It is because that is the first thing that the employer is going to see when you're applying for a job. They won't get to you won't get to sit down with them in person. They won't get to see you in person to know who you really are, right? They're gonna the first thing the first impression they're gonna have is whatever you put on paper, whatever or electronic form, whatever it may be, right? That's who they're gonna know. They're gonna know you by what's on paper. So you want to make sure that when you're providing a resume, it is the best that it can be, right? You want to make sure that it's highly optimized so that it can send out among other resumes. Because remember, interviewers are looking at other people's resumes as well. So you want to make sure that yours is standing out, right? So how do we do that, right? One of the things that I used to see a lot, when I was interviewing candidates, is that they would have, obvious grammatical errors and lots of typos in the resume, and that used to drive me nuts, honestly, right? Because the way you get a look at it is like if you're putting in a resume that is not up to standards, below standards, you're going to send a bad message to the employer. The employer's going to look at your resume and going to say, okay, there are so many typos in this resume. They missed, so you have some grammar issues in here. It shows that this person didn't put in the time and the effort to make sure that the resume was spot on, right? So that's gonna make you question your credibility and your work ethic, because if you don't have the time, if you don't take the time and the effort to make sure that your resume is in good shape, how much time are you going to take to test the application that is given to you, by that employer? That's what the employer is going to be thinking, right? Is this going to be a good employee, right? Are they really good with attention to detail? That's one of the big things with quality assurance. You have to make sure that you have good attention to detail. And if you're not able to show that with your resume skills, then that's going to project, send a bad message out there, right? So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your resume before you even apply for any jobs. And how do you do that? Obviously you have grammar checkers, word programs such as Word and whatnot, also online. But also you can do is share your resume with colleagues, with friends, with family members. They're going to get another picture, right? They're going to have fresh eyes. They're going to catch things that you may not have caught, right? And they're going to give you suggestions on how you can improve it, or maybe some obvious typos, some obvious grammatical issues. So you want to make sure that it's good to go before you send that into the interviewer. The other thing is the length of the resume. I had one resume that one time broke the record for me. It was 9 pages long. And one question that I want to ask you guys: do you think that an interviewer is going to have time to go through 9 pages of someone's resume? The short answer is no. And the reason why is because there isn't enough time, right? Sometimes interviewers have to look at hundreds, dozens or even hundreds of resumes before they can decide on which ones they want to move forward with. So you want to increase your chances of your resume getting picked, right? You want to make it easier for them to be able to review that resume. You don't want it to be a book on your life's work, So basically, keep it short. My recommendation is usually 1 page, maximum 2 pages long. Obviously, if you're just getting started in your career, this is talking about someone who has, after all, we're talking about someone who has no experience, right? But in some cases, you may be coming from a QA background, so you may have some experience or some other field. You don't want to create lots of bullet points, a lot of, all of the works that you've done even from before you had professional experience. You want to keep it short, and concise. And the last thing, the third tip that I want to give you is how well organized your resume is. Presentation matters, right? You want to make sure that your resume, it's easy to read. The font is good size, so it is easy to read as well. So that's one thing that is going to be a good a good thing for the viewer, you know, whoever's interviewing you. Make it easier for them. You want to make their life easier, right? Their job easier. So you don't want to create impediments, you know. So that's one easy thing that you can do. So again, I'm just kind of going overview on these. You know, there's a lot of more information in here. There's a lot of meat in here, a lot of actionable information that you can take. You can read all the details. Again, I just want to remind you, be sure to sign up for the upcoming webinar. So that's coming up on Monday, August 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you want to get this right here. You know, there's a lot of great information here, and hopefully maybe I'll make another video, give you another tip on here, so you kind of, you know, get excited about this. So I'm really excited about seeing you guys and seeing the enthusiasm around this upcoming webinar, and I just can't wait to see you guys all there. All right, I'll see you soon. Take care.